So you want to be able to perform a deadlift, and you want to be able to perform one with a good amount of weight and not have pain. Easy enough, right? There's some pretty common mistakes that people make that can actually make what I just said really challenging. So one of the first things we want to make sure that we're doing is we're actually hinging when we perform a deadlift. We are not squatting. So our hips should have a greater angle of motion than our knees, right? So we are not going down into a squat like so. What we're actually doing is we're hinging from the hip with a slight bend in the knee, right? This actually will allow activation of your posterior chain and not your anterior chain, aka your quads should not be dominant in this activity. We should have more of the hamstring and glute control. So that's going to be a big one for everybody. The second one is going to be hips shooting up too fast. So our chest and our hips should actually shoot up, come up together at the same time, right? So when you're hinged forward, coming down, slight bend in the knee, right? If we're down in a squat, well, we've got to shoot the hips up faster because we have more real estate to carry before we get to the proper position. But at the end of the day, what should be happening is a slight bend in the knee, right? We're hinged at the hip, and we're going to stand up, chest and knees at the same time. Does that make sense? Right here. And we're not overshooting. Once we come to that neutral spine, we're keeping our ribs underneath our pelvis or underneath our hip bone at all times. So we don't have this excessive posterior tilt and we don't have this excessive anterior tilt, right? We have a neutral pelvic tilt. So that's going to be number 2. Number 3 is going to be lat control, right? We want to engage those lats. We want to open up our chest, right? So our lats bring our arms kind of closer into our body, right? So when we're coming down, this is my bar, I'm hinging at my hip, slight bend in my knee, I'm looking straight ahead and I'm squeezing those shoulder blades together. This activates my lats. I should pretend like, or I can pretend like, I've got, $5, $20, $100 bill, whatever you like, between your armpits, like right under your armpits. You want to squeeze those lats so hard that nobody can come take your money from you, right? So this also puts the barbell, a little closer to the body, which decreases your momentum arm, which allows you to be able to lift more weight without back pain. All right, number 4 is going to be increasing abdominal pressure. We want to be able to activate our core properly so that our core can help drive the motion as well and protect our back so that we're not overusing our lower back. What do I mean by that? Let's talk about diaphragmatic breathing. So basically what we have is as you breathe in, your belly button goes into your spine. As you breathe out, we have a little bit more of a rounded tummy, right? So practicing that breath, right? This is actually proper abdominal breathing. We want to incorporate this with our motion. So we're coming down, we're hinging at our hips, we have a slight bend in the knees, we're looking straight ahead. I'm engaging my lats, right? And now what I'm going to do is activate proper breathing. As I come up, I breathe out. As I hip hinge back down, I'm going to increase that intrathoracic pressure just so that I can let it out as I stand up. When you contract a muscle in any activity, you do not want to hold your breath at the same time as muscle contraction. That's very important. Finally, we want to make sure that we're not incorrectly using or incorrectly posturing when we go down into this deadlift. This is where this dowel rod comes into play. So if you have one at home, what you want to do, or something like it, what you want to do is put it behind your back. You're going to stack your hips, right? Your ribs, your lower ribs and your hips are in alignment, right? This allows your lower back to be as flat as possible to the dowel rod. Additionally, we do not want to round our upper thoracic spine. So as we hip hinge down and up, everything should stay in contact with the dowel rod. We do not want rounding of the upper back, and we do not want arching of the lower back. Both of those things signal improper motor control. So what I would do is I would back off and I would work on proper hip hinging first. Make sure that you can take apart those pieces that we just talked about, right? Make sure we understand how to properly engage our core. Make sure we are properly engaging our lats, right? Before we actually put the pieces together with weight.